Banana 101.5.
And obviously you'll be doing some work in the interim between the tours and everything else you guys have going with Giraffe Tongue Orchestra. Now, do you guys have any kind of tour lined up, or is it still in the early stages of putting that together?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the tricky part is having to coordinate all of our schedules. I'm obviously very busy. Ben Weinman is also very busy with, Dillinger Escape Plan, and obviously Brent Hines is busy with Mastodon off and on. So that's one of the more challenging things is just how do you get all of us in the same time zone in the same room at the same time, and so as of now, we're going to make our live debut at Reading and Leeds, the Reading and Leeds festivals in England. Mm-hmm. Reading is on August 27th, and Leeds is on August 28th. And then we have some American dates planned for December that we haven't officially announced yet, but that's going to be a thing we do, and it's just going to be a few cities, and it's going to be mostly like underplay kind of shows, just to get out there and kind of wet our beaks a little bit and introduce ourselves to folks here in the States. And then I suspect in 2017 that's where we're going to start planning some more real deal meat and potatoes touring, both in Europe and the States. That's our hope anyway.
Yeah, it's got to be tough to navigate that because a stacked lineup, dude. This looks incredible. You got Ben from Dillinger Escape Plan, for people that don't know, Brent Hines from Mastodon. You got the bassist from Dethklok, Pete Griffin, right?
Yep.
Thomas Pridgeon on drums, who did some work with the Mars Volta, and also John Theodore makes an appearance on the album, a couple appearances actually.
Yeah, John Theodore plays on a couple songs as well, and so it's just an amazing lineup of musicians. Everybody's a master, in their own right, and here we are, trying to come together to create something that is unique, and I think we achieved that, and we just can't wait for everybody to hear it. I mean, this is I can't even fully convey how proud I am of it. For my part, it's definitely some of my best writing by far lyrically, and it was kind of like writing for. At times, it was almost like writing for film or like for like a Broadway stage show or something. And I say that not entirely facetiously because it's like the music has all of these sweeping mood swings, and a lot of it does strike me as sort of very cinematic or almost like it needs a narrative,
Yeah.
And if you tried to apply standard rock songwriting tools to that music, you just weren't going to be able to make it. So it was great that it challenged me in such interesting ways, and we that's what we do is we push each other. If you listen to the way those guys play, it's just they're pushing the limits all the time, and so that's what I'm doing, and I think it came out incredibly well.
If you had to describe what people can expect to hear, what type of music it is it kind of all over the place? I'm guessing it dips into, just looking at the lineup, I'm guessing it dips into the progressive end of things quite a bit. But where does the band kind of live?
Well, I'm obviously really close to it, so it's hard for me to be objective and kind of step out of the frame completely and assess it. But I'm one of the things that I'm looking forward to the most is how listeners assess it once the entire album is out and everyone's had some time to digest it. But if I had to try, I would say absolutely. There's a lot of things that people would associate with heavy progressive music. We have a guy from Mastodon, and we have a guy from Dillinger Escape Plan. We have two of the masterminds of those respective bands. So. And then we have Thomas Pridgeon. Nobody scrambles the eggs like that guy, So there's a lot of real high energy, push the envelope kind of progressive music on there for sure. There's a lot of for guitar players. This album is going to be a feast for the senses. For drummers and for bassists, honestly, it's going to be like they hit the all-you-can-eat platter. You know what I mean? It's insane, seriously. And then having said that, there are some more sort of, for lack of a better way of putting it, more straightforward tunes on there. Some that even kind of get into you, like you could almost dance to them as well as headbang to them. Just propulsive beats and things. They're the kind of songs that might even lend themselves to remixes and that kind of thing. We love a lot of different kinds of music, so that's going to find its way into our sound. But everything on the album has a lot of attitude. There's nothing on there that doesn't. Everything goes for the throat, for sure. So yeah, we'll just have to see how people dig it.
How early into the band's creation did you become a part of the process? Because I remember reading some things that they were maybe looking for singers. Were you drafted, or was this something you were a part of from the beginning?
Well, it's interesting because I was actually the first guy that they approached about this. The first singer they approached about it when it was really embryonic. Brent and Ben both at various points came to me, like this would have been around 2011 or so when the thing first was getting underway, and they were first talking about it amongst themselves. And at that time, I remember Brent approaching me backstage at the Tabernacle, I think it was, in Atlanta. That was one of the first times I heard about this thing called GTO. And then I remember getting some really rudimentary demos of 3 or 4 songs. And this would have been like home recording stuff or things that maybe they recorded in the back of a tour bus when they had a few spare moments. So it was really undeveloped, but cool. And I don't even think there was any real drumming on a lot of stuff or what,
Pretty rough demos then.
So yeah, I mean, it was like that, and it was 3 or 4 things, and I was interested, but then life happened. Alice got wrapped up in our tornado of stuff. I think we were getting into doing the pre-production for the Devil Put Dinosaurs Here album, and then we got into that whole cycle, the album cycle. So I was just swept up in that, and of course Mastodon stays busy, Dillinger stays busy. So we just all kind of got swept up in our respective bands, and a long time after the fact, fast forward to last year, 2015, and I run into Brent again. I run into Brent at the grocery store. And I run into Brent at the Midtown Whole Foods, and he, he's just like, man, we really still love you to do something with GTO, man. We got a lot of stuff now, a lot of stuff recorded now, music, and so I said, well, cool, man. Why don't I get on with Ben and see what's going on, and so I got on the phone with Ben Weinman a little later that night, and we both agreed that if what we were more interested in was a real band, not some kind of vanity project and not some kind of all-star thing.
Yeah.
We definitely didn't. I didn't want to be a part of something where there was like, oh, we'll get this guy to sing on this song, and we'll get this person to sing on that song, and then we'll get this girl from this band to do this song. I didn't want to do that kind of thing. And neither did Ben. So I said, send me what you got. And so he sent me 8 songs, and they were all really, really developed. I mean, it was the real deal. And it was the stuff that you hear on the album, the musical tracks you hear on the album. So from there, we were really off and running. And I started digging into it. And as I said, it challenged me in so many ways. But, within a few months, we had a 10-song album. So it was the result of a lot of hard work on their part, and then a lot of hard work on my part.
Yeah,
and it kind of came full circle because, like I said, they approached me first, then they went through all these, different people and different lineups and so on, and then ended up circling back to me. So I guess it was destiny or whatever,
Now, are you going to be playing guitar at all on this album, or is it just vocals?
I am not going to touch a guitar in this band.
Because you're killing me. You keep walking into these.
I have two of the best, most insane guitarists on the scene today. Two of the most insane guitar players that I can think of over the last 20 years. One on the left side of me, one on the right side of me. It was just, as much as I love the guitar, as much as I consider myself a guitarist before I even think of myself as a singer, still to this day. There's no need. I think they even asked me about it. I was like, I don't have one desire. Like, I'll just show up, rock the mic, you guys, you do your thing, and that'll be plenty, honestly. No need for us to be Molly Hatchet up there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, you do keep stepping into these situations where you're surrounded by really great guitarists. Obviously this band was sort of established and the music was there already. Same with Alice in Chains. I mean, you got Jerry there. He's been the lead guy forever.
Exactly. It's an interesting thing because, like I said, I started playing guitar at 8 years old, but here I am in these bands where I'm mostly known as a singer, and it's fine. I certainly can't complain. It's a blessing to be surrounded by great people, whether it's Alice or whether it's GTO. Having said that, I definitely plan at some point on getting music out there where I am more featured as a guitar player, whether that takes the form of reigniting Comes with the Fall or whether it's something else. That's absolutely on the agenda. But for now, there's plenty to keep me busy.
I'm actually glad you brought up Comes with the Fall, because I was going to ask you about that. I first became aware of your work when I think I saw you in 2006, the first tour you did with Alice at I think I saw you at the Emerald. And the thing obviously I was blown away by how well you do those songs. And secondly, I was really impressed. I think you played lead on, you guys did Got Me Wrong acoustic, or it was something acoustic, and you played lead. You were really great. So then I went back and checked out Comes with the Fall, and you're a phenomenal guitarist. So
thanks, man.
I'm glad to hear that you're thinking about reigniting that project, because when are we going to hear some William DuVall shredding again,
Yeah, man. I appreciate that very much. That's Comes with the Fall has been a labor of love since we started in '99. I basically played guitar in every band I was ever in before that, prior to Comes with the Fall. So there's a long and storied history there that predates Alice in Chains that people can check out if they want to, and especially with Comes with the Fall, the catalog speaks for itself. There's several albums and to dig into, and I mean that's a huge part of my life. I'm really proud of that, and I want to get back into that at some point for sure. But until then, the records live on, thank goodness, and people can do what you did. They can go back and check it out for themselves,
And it's not like we're starving either. I mean, you're involved in all these great projects, so it's just good to hear, anything that you're working on. But all right, man, I appreciate your time. I won't hold you up too much longer. I figure you got a lot of prep to do for the show today, but if you are ever in the area with any of your projects, be it Alice in Chains or Giraffe Tongue Orchestra, we got a great venue here in Flint. It's a little small, but ask people about the Machine Shop, and we hope you'll come through sometime in any of your projects, man. It's been great talking to you.
I know the Machine Shop, and I'd love to do that. My goodness, I'd love to do that. And Flint's got a great rock and roll history, and I look forward to getting up there, man, for sure.
All right, well, I'm going to hold you to that, man. I hope to see you here, and have a great show tonight. Thanks for calling in.
Thanks, brother.
All right, William. Take care.
Bye. Bye now.
Banana 101.5.